Coming up on today's podcast show.
My first bit of advice to financial advisory firms is know what you're offering to the client. Make it really clear what you do, what your specialist area is.
On this episode of the show, we are diving into Phil Neilson's company, Just Service, and understand how his platform can help IFAs build better relationships with their clients, as well as help them track, consolidate their AUM in one place, and a whole lot more. So let's jump right in.
Okay, well, thanks for the invitation to come in. I have been in Hong Kong 18 years. I'm a Kiwi. Came up here with ING Bank, and 5 years ago set up the Just Service Group, which is designed to provide services to the IFA sector.
Obviously, you've mentioned where you operate. I mean, do you just operate in Hong Kong? Or?
No. Well, I've got a couple of companies here. One's a licensed broker business, but also we have a technology company here. And our main business really is Labuan licensed, which is called Just Service Global, and that's the one that provides a network model, like a platform network model to the IFA sector.
What makes your platform unique compared to other platforms?
Well, probably the breadth of offering. So you do get players, international IFA firms in particular are targeted by certain companies who allow you to use their licensed umbrella, or they might provide regular reporting of valuations to clients, but they don't tend to do much else. And because I come from the New Zealand-Australia market, where it's all about building networks where you provide a range of services, like a menu. That's the model that I'm following. And so we deliver services to clients, we deliver services to the advisor, we deliver services, online services, to the owners of the business.
And is this, when you say it's Just Service Global, I mean, is this for anyone who is in the IFA market offshore and onshore?
Yeah, both. So far we've targeted the international space, because they're the ones who have got the greatest need for managing clients with assets in different jurisdictions.
It's obviously difficult to do this over the podcast, but if you could just sort of describe what this system looks like and how it actually helps the IFA manage their client portfolio.
Well, it's really a set of applications. So we have a dashboard. So the owner of the business or an advisor can look at the dashboard and they can see what revenues they're earning versus what's expected. So we do track that very thoroughly. We've spent a year putting that together because it's very difficult for the owner of a business, even for an advisor at an advisor level. Very difficult to know what should be coming in terms of their renewals or their trails or their advisory fees. And we have monthly valuations going out to clients, so the advisor can look, or the owner can look at any given time just by one click to see exactly what the last valuation was for a client. We have portfolio reviews, which really makes it much easier for the advisor to engage the client and propose either model portfolios or moving them into a DFM, anything to help them raise their recurring revenue.
Now, we just went through your platform and, I thought it was very interesting to see, how much you can use this platform to engage with your client or clientele. One of the things you showed me was sending a link over to your client. How do you think that may benefit the IFA and the client's relationship by having that facility?
Well, we put together this application for doing portfolio reviews, not only for the purpose of making the advisor look far more professional in the eyes of the client, but also the value proposition's much higher. And if the client's saying, wow, this is very cool, and they're very engaged, it's much easier to sell advisory fees. So that's really what it's all about, because I think we all understand that front-end commissions are coming down. Ultimately, trail commissions are even becoming more difficult, but maybe we'll have a few more years of that. But the one recurring revenue that no one questions and all the regulators are happy with is advisory fees. So if you can have a tool that makes it very easy to sell sell clients to become involved in a regular portfolio review, which is very visual, high impact, engaging, then everyone wins.
So, Phil, if an IFA wanted to set up an account for their clients, how do they go about doing that?
Well, in our case, we have a network application, and so they agree to effectively be a partner with us for some or all of their book. And the second step would be a novation process where they might say, well, here's 50 or 100 plans that I'd like to put on your platform, and I want to see the value proposition. I want to see if I can actually build my recurring revenue or have better engagement with my clients. And thirdly is they start using it. So it's like a 1, 2, 3. Not too difficult.
So what advice could you share that a financial advisor can pass on to their clients?
That's an interesting one. Well, my view on that really starts with what is their proposition, right? So if you're going to communicate with your clients these days, what are you? What's the scope of your role? Are you there just to manage my portfolio or try and sell me a bit of insurance or whatever? And they are, for most of our market, they're expatriates, and so they have financial planning needs plus, meaning across border and family in different jurisdictions and assets in different jurisdictions. So what are you? Are you a tax advisor? Are you managing their estate planning? And so I think 10 years, doesn't matter how you look at the numbers, doesn't matter what you believe in terms of how long this bull market's going to last. If we're not in the top 10 to 20% of a bull run, then there's no logic in the markets at all. It's only a matter of time. And so if you're not proactive in gearing up your clients through a few blogs or a few newsletters, and then maybe try and put a few of your better clients at the very least into defensive portfolios, then you might get unstuck when the market does eventually turn into a recession.
Sure. And I guess with your platform, that just would obviously make that process a lot smoother in the eventuality of a recession.
Well, it is. Yes, because of course the client becomes far more engaged, and they want to do things. They want to say they will tell you if they're starting to get nervous or they think they've got too much exposure to equities or anything else for that matter.
So how are you engaged with your clients?
Well, actually, it's not our own clients. It's just the clients of our partners on the network, and we send out monthly valuations because we get feeds from all the institutions and fund managers, not fund managers, fund platforms, and that in itself is important because it's what's in it. It's got to be simple enough so that clients can understand. It can't be disturbing that they worry about it. They just need to know what's happening with their money. And they can also download that on their mobile app as well. So that's pretty convenient and it's a bit more like a banking application. So again, it makes the advisor look very professional. And the second part would be the advisor application for doing portfolio reviews. And that usually is either quarterly or half yearly. And that's the most engaging of all because the clients can be involved in rebalancing a portfolio or agreeing to move to a model portfolio or a DFM.
What kind of support are you currently offering them?
Well, I think I touched on that before. Really, there's something for each party. So for the end client, they are now getting regular updates and they can view it on their mobile app, how their portfolios are doing, their different financial products. The advisor has a tool whereby they do reviews and charge advisory fees. The owner has now a proper system for managing recurring revenue and growing that recurring revenue, which is what the game's all about these days.
And finally, what's the main takeaway message you would like to share with our audience?
I think the main message is you have to invest in your business somehow. So those days of just ticking over, maybe you had a few advisors and maybe you haven't got so many these days, but you're surviving. That kind of model is just not going to cut it for the next 5 years. For a start, you've probably got no exit strategy. So what you need to do at the very least is invest in your own business through education, and maybe, take on some marketing, learn how to do blogs, how to do social media, just so that you can at least have some presence for your business. It looks as though, you have some profile. That's at the very least. But really, it's all about, for most, it's all about now making a decision to be part of something bigger. And no matter what you decide to do, you have to make an investment. So if you're dealing with someone who allows you to work under their licensed umbrella, they're going to take some of the commission. In our case, we're going to do some kind of split of revenues because we're here to try and help you build your business. But the owner of the business has to say, well, I have to put an investment in somehow to help grow the business for all the right reasons, including, most importantly, I need to have more exit strategies.
Well, before we wrap up, Phil, could you tell us how we can get in touch with yourself and Just Service?
Well, the best way to get in contact with us is just either myself, Phil at justserviceglobal.com, or go to our website, justserviceglobal.com.
Thanks very much, Phil.
Cheers. Thanks, Ben.